without Cody's run, Matt Cardona's run would have happened the way it has.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And you're watching Tom Talks Rubbish.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Tom Talks Rubbish, and today I'm back with another interview. This time, I'm joined by Grant, and essentially, we're going to talk about what being a regular wrestling fan without being a content creator and with a regular job is really like. So welcome to the show, Grant.
Oh, Tom, nice to meet you. Hello, everybody. I'm Grant, just like a regular guy who enjoys wrestling during the day while I can.
So if we take this back to the beginning, my friend, where does your wrestling fandom begin?
A long time ago, the first thing I can remember about wrestling is I was a wee dude. I was running about the living room, and my big brother had WrestleMania 14 on video, and Stone Cold versus Shawn Michaels came on, and boom, instantly I was hooked for that moment. It was just, I don't really know if it was so much I knew what it was, but I knew that what I was seeing, I liked.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So it just kind of hooked me. And then every time my brother and that was watching it, I would be like, well, I want to watch it. So we would just get old videos. My brother would keep his videos that he would get and get them to me. So the older I go, it just carried on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. So if, we continue, were you mainly an Attitude Era kid then? Or were you a, what's it called? Ruthless Aggression kid?
I mean, my favourite era of wrestling's the Attitude Era, but I grew up through the Ruthless Aggression era. So I did.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So why is it that the era you didn't grow up in isn't your favourite? You did grow up in?
Too many cartoonish characters.
Yeah, that's true.
There was too many. The storylines didn't really make enough sense. Nearly did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was
totally.
It was like, well, that's not what I want. I want somebody like Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Somebody who's going to put in the work, put in the effort, and actually do what people want to see him do. Not just come for a paycheck. Come and actually be a wrestler, not an entertainer. As much as that was his job, like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Triple H, Chyna, they all stood out. Do you know what I mean? And then in the Ruthless Aggression era, you've got Billy and Chuck. No disrespect to Billy and Chuck, great athletes in their own respect, but that's not what I wanted to watch.
Okay. But with Steve Austin obviously being a big sort of hero to you, say we had a DeLorean and he could be transported into the Ruthless Aggression era. Do you think he would have worked, or do you think because of the different eras he may not have worked so well?
If you had the right people to work with, if Stone Cold in 2004 say, was still active and he had an AJ Styles, a Drew Galloway, an Edge to work with, it would have worked. It would have worked to an extent because of the way his body had broke down through the years, obviously for a neck injury in '97.
Yeah.
Now, I do truly believe that it would have worked because it worked when it was Sheriff Austin.
True.
Jumping about and stunning people here, there and everywhere. So I don't see how it couldn't have worked with him being an in-ring competitor. Do I believe that the ruthless aggression era fans like myself, well, through my time, would have gravitated towards Stone Cold as much as what we did in the 90s? I don't believe so. I believe we gravitate towards him now because of the mystique that's behind him and because of the WWE network and the things that we've got to see.
Yeah, but if he
You know
was
what I
to,
mean?
yeah, but like if he was to get hot in the ruthless aggression era, you don't think he would have worked as well?
Personally, no. It would have, like I said, it would have been Stone Cold. It wouldn't have been our Stone Cold.
Yeah,
It would have been like Cheryl Foston. Now, Cheryl Foston worked to an extent, but there's only so much Cheryl Foston that you can take serious.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like when he was coming out and booing Lance Cade and telling him he was boring. Now, wholeheartedly, I think there's no Lance Cade, Lance Storm, sorry.
I
Lance
know what you
Storm on
meant.
Raw. When he done that to Lance Storm, I still watch that now, and I think that's disgusting and disrespectful. As much as Stone Cold's my hero, Lance Storm's a great wrestler in his own right. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? He pioneered so much that people don't understand.
yeah,
So for things like that to happen, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, it worked, but how long would it work for? How
yeah.
long would Stone Cold stay hot for?
What about things from that era that you grew up on, like the Attitude Era? Sorry, the ruthless aggression era that you do look back on with
Fondness. There's a lot of things I look back
fondness.
on
Fondness,
with
yeah.
fun. Do you know what I mean? Like, one of the most taboo things in wrestling you won't see anywhere is the WrestleMania 20 main event, the triple threat match.
Yeah,
The greatest triple threat match in WrestleMania history, if not wrestling history. The emotion, the story, everything behind it, it sucks you in. Even to the day, even if you were to show that to a general person and not tell them any of the negative stuff behind it, they'd be
yeah,
sucked in because of the emotion. A
yeah,
guy that took 18 years to get to the top of the mountain, done it.
yeah. I get you.
I
What
mean, and then
about?
like
Sorry, dude.
Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle, what a match! I love Eddie Guerrero.
Mm,
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things for that era that stand out. Mainly like the rise of John Cena and watching Eddie Guerrero go for being a drug user, shall we say,
yeah,
to then turning around his life to become world champion and seeing him and Chris Benoit at the end of WrestleMania. I'm getting emotional now thinking about it. Seeing
yeah,
them at the end of WrestleMania 20 is still to me the greatest moment in wrestling history.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
It's not the greatest moment, sorry, the greatest closing scene at WrestleMania. I know we've got Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, was it 30?
yeah.
But like there's things behind the story with Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero that not a lot of people will read about or understand.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. What about like less emotional stuff, but like matches that you think, okay, as a ruthless aggression kid, I was lucky to witness this.
Edge versus Eddie Guerrero on SmackDown.
Is that the one with the huge ladder?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's when was it Edge that does his neck, hangs his neck after the power bomb, I'm sure. Or was it
Oh
Eddie?
yeah, yeah. I
It's
know what
one
you're
of
on
the
about.
two of them. One of the two of them injured herself. There's that match. There's a few matches that's done it. I don't really know if the Royal Rumble 2001 counts as ruthless
Still
aggression.
attitude era.
Still attitude era. Right,
I
well,
believe, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, the attitude era ended at X7.
I totally agree with you. Totally. That's
Yeah.
how I had to ask well, like, because some people end it at the end of 2000.
Mm-hmm.
There's other people end it, like you said, WrestleMania 17.
So when do you think it started and ended? Because for me, I think it started at 13 with Austin Brett. and then ended at 17 with Austin turning heel.
Truthfully,
Yeah.
I believe the Attitude Era started at Survivors before Survivor Series 96, leading up to Stone Cold versus Bret Hart for the first time.
True.
Because up until then, we hadn't seen somebody like Stone Cold talk the way Stone Cold spoke.
Yeah.
The attitude that came out of him, that like I don't care, you're my boss, you might be my co-worker, but I have to stand for you like nobody else. I'm better than you. He was, to use MJF's terms, he knew he was better back then and everybody else knew it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, I'm better than you and you know it, so you will lie down to me. I'm the king of this mountain and you just don't realise.
Yeah.
So for it to start on the build up to us Survivor Series 96, like culminated at Survivor Series 96 and started, and then it ended with a handshake.
Yeah, I get
It
you.
ended with a handshake at WrestleMania 17. Do you know
So
what I mean?
Yeah, totally. So it started with, correct me, for me, it started with Austin bleeding, and it started with him, ended with him shaking some Vince's hand.
Aye, totally. It's like, that makes sense because you could look at it that way. It started with a double turn at WrestleMania 13.
Yeah.
Which again is one of the greatest matches ever. And then it ended with him bleeding again. So it started with him bleeding and then it ended with him bleeding. And it started with him turning face and then ended with him turning heel. So really, we could sit here the now and the way we're discussing it is Stone Cold is the reason for the Attitude Era.
Yeah, I agree.
So let me ask you this one, Tom, right? Do you think that the Attitude Era now, while we're discussing it, would have happened without Stone Cold?
Say that last bit again, mate. Your audio cut out.
Do you think the Attitude Era would have happened with Stone Cold?
If he'd
Without
never
Stone Cold, sorry.
No. But I also believe that there was a lot of perfect storms when it came to the Attitude Era. I don't think it would have happened without the screw job. I don't think it would have happened without Vince McMahon being created. I don't think it would have happened without WCW and the NWO. I think all of these things in a pot created the Attitude Era. You take one thing out, it wouldn't have been the same.
Totally. That makes sense. So it does, because without WCW amping up what they were doing in competition, then WWE would have started being far cartoonish characters back then.
Yeah, I still think we'd be in the new generation. Basically, I don't think without the Attitude Era, we would have got out of the Hulk Hogan era.
Totally. We wouldn't have evolved.
Sorry, without WCW, we wouldn't have got out of the Hulk Hogan era in WWF.
This might be so bad to say, but the best thing ever to happen to the WWE was the steroid scandal.
Okay, do you want to elaborate on that?
And elaborate, that's not a problem. I mean, without that, there would have been all them jacked up on juices. So how long would they have been jacked up for? How would it still be going on now if the steroid scandal never came in?
Yeah.
Because up until then, like Dr. George Zamorian was only the doctor. It wasn't until people started speaking out. Do you know what I mean?
I totally get you.
Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, all these people, they were all full of steroids. And that's why when they came back in 93, they all looked like a shell of their former self.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that people in 90, like Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression were on steroids. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, if it wasn't for the steroid scandal, we would still be in the new generation era for the simple fact is Vince McMahon likes big meaty men.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally, man.
How are you going to get big in 6 months without doing it naturally? Or just, boom, Vince McMahon's new favourite project.
Yeah. So if we move on to your current consumption of wrestling, what do you fit in during your regular week with a shoot job and Education?
I study myself. I just do wee bits and bobs online and that. Aye.
Yeah. So what do you try and fit in wrestling-wise in your week?
A few things. I try and watch AEW as much as I can. Raw, SmackDown, Rampage, and then I'll watch clips of like Evolution and not Evolution and Dark.
Elevation.
I'll watch clips of them and stuff, but I watch clips of like Triple A.
Yeah.
So I'm really fond of New Japan. I have a lot of New Japan tattoos. So I do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's really what I feel like I want to watch that day. If I want to sit down and watch New Japan, I'll watch New Japan. If I want to watch Raw, I'll watch Raw. But
Yeah.
what I'll always try and do, I'll always try and make sure that I catch that week's wrestling before that week's end.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
If you were a content creator and had to pick one show to basically analyze and enjoy it and maybe even review, what would that be?
Probably the Indies.
Okay.
And I can't just say one independent scene because the Indies give me just as much excitement for watching them as with the big shows. Like Matt Cardonas is on the run of his life now after leaving the Fed, as he calls it. Do you know what I mean? He's done what Cody done, but only done it better.
Okay. Why do you think Matt Cardona's run's been better than Cody's run?
Because Cody had the name behind him. Cody had roads to fall back onto as much as he didn't want to. If anything went sour for Cody, he knew that the road's name was going to pull him out of a ditch. Matt Cardona had nothing. He came for nothing. I'm sure it was Matt Cardona that battled cancer when he was 7.
I should have looked that up before we started. I can't answer that question, my friend.
I'm sure he battled something terminal when he was younger. So he had all the odds backed against him even before he wanted to become like step foot into a ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for him to go and do what he's doing, he has my most respect and gratitude for leaving the WWE. He's got 6 belts at the minute we are talking. I don't know how many he's going to have by the time this comes out.
Because I don't know when it's going to come out. I'm not going to lie.
That's what I mean. For all we know, we could have 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Cody stuck to the independence that he knew.
Yeah.
Matt Cardona's gone places where it's new for him. GCW, for example, he popped up there and had death match after death match after death match. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah, totally.
Went to the NWA, became their world champion after becoming a world champion in GCW. Now, he's an Impact as well, also as the digital media champion. What more can you ask for a guy who 6 years ago, not even 6 years ago, 4 years ago was jobbing?
Yeah.
He was in a tag team with Mojo Rawley called Heat Bros. No disrespect to Mojo Rawley. But when you look at people's careers now and look at them back then, you think, well, what if they never went to this company? Do you know what I mean? For example,
let me ask you it this way.
Sorry,
Do you think without Cody's run, Matt Cardona's run would have happened the way it has?
No, the way it has, no, because I truly believe that Cody's influenced that in some way because they're shoot pals as well. So how much influence does Cody have on telling Matt Cardona where to go? Go to Impact for a couple of years, or go to Impact for a wee run. I'll do you the world of good.
Yeah.
You popped into this town, I heard this promotion's good. Because Cody couldn't do it because he was in AEW. So maybe it's Cody's way of saying, right, well, I'll help you do this since I'm here now.
Yeah.
But no, I don't believe that it would have happened without it would have happened if Cody Rhodes never left WWE and done what he done. I don't believe it would have happened the way it would have happened. I don't believe it would have become a bigger star outside of the company than what he has been inside of the company. And it's happened. He's worth 10 times more than money now than what he was with the WWE. He's built his own, like back in WWE with Long Island IZ, the Zack Ryder story on YouTube. He was doing amazing with that. He done that well with that WWE had to bury him because he didn't want to give all his content. Then they try to use his figure show on their content channel on YouTube and failed at that. Now, when you go and look at their views on their figure channel and look at Matt Cardonas, it's the same people as Brian Myers and Matt Cardona that's doing it. The Major Wrestling Figure podcast has got a bigger following than what the toy one does on WWE.
Yeah.
And it totally makes sense. We don't just love Matt Cardona for the belts. He's the first guy that's actually took us inside his collectible room. Shows us how much money he spends. To me, that amazes me, being the average wrestling fan, thinking to myself, wow, if I had all that money, I'd be delusional with it. This guy makes that money a week and goes and buys toys with it.
I'd be the same. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, what did I do with this money?
Yeah, definitely. So as we go into a segment that I don't know how many of my interviews you've seen, my friend, but this is a segment that I call generic questions, where basically I ask you your favorite match, favorite pay-per-view, favorite superstar, favorite theme song, favorite event you've been at live, and whatever other generic question pops into my head. Because now you'll have a place to go, look, I've answered this, go watch this video.
It's no worries, man. It's not a problem, mate. Batter in.
Favorite match of all time?
First blood match. Fully loaded, 1999 Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Why does that one speak to you so much? Because that's a deep cut that we haven't had for a while.
I don't know. It's just the story behind it. And I know when you look back at it now, the story doesn't really make sense. If Stone Cold loses, he doesn't get another shot at the championship. Right, that's all fine and dandy. But if Vince McMahon loses, you're never going to see him.
Oh, is this the one where Vince is banned if he loses? Yeah.
So I'm like, right, that still holds a lot at stake the new. When you watch it, you get so gripped for it, even though you know what happens after it.
Yeah.
But everything about that match, for the start of the pay-per-view, for Undertaker busting open Stone Cold on heat, to then Stone Cold hitting Jeff Jarrett with a chair, to then busting up Undertaker. So now the two of them are bleeding before they go into a first blood match.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to bleed first?
What about
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. What about favorite pay-per-view of all time?
Fully loaded, 1999.
Is that because of that match and the story?
No, just because of that match. There's the leather strap match with The Rock and Triple H, which is fantastic. And then you've got Kane versus the Big Show with Hardcore Holly as a special guest referee. For some reason, that stands out to me, that match. And I think it's because Big Show gorilla presses Kane all the top rope like a small child. It was really, really impressive.
Is that the one? I've seen it in a list recently from Adam Blompier, I think, where basically he's lifted up over the top and basically chucked over the ring.
Aye.
Out of the ring.
Like a small child.
Yeah, that's the one. And then in Adam's words, Kane's like, nope, that sucked. I'm not doing that again.
I don't want to do that again.
Yeah. So, where were you when you first watched Fully Loaded 99? Did you watch it live? Is this another?
When I watched that pay-per-view?
Yeah, is this another one where your brother was like, I've got this
DVD?
DVD?
It had that on video, and it's funny because
VHS, sorry.
Aye, VHS, video, what people call it. I don't know what people call it. We call it video. People in America call it VHS. So,
Video something, I can't remember what it stands for.
Aye. So my brother had it on VHS, and I've still got the VHS to the day, in fact.
Have you?
So I won't part with it. You know, it's still up my loft, like up the stair, like in my landing bit.
Does it still
So
work?
it still works. Everything's still fine. I still got the case and all that for it.
Wow.
So I'll dig it out and I'll send you an email for it.
Please do, my
So,
friend.
so he had that, and then I thought, oh, I'll put that in one day, and boom, it just, like I said, it started with Stone Cold getting busted open, and that was it. I was hooked.
Favorite theme song of all time?
Hollywood Rocks theme song.
Remind me which one that is without getting my channel taken down.
See, when it turned heel in 2003,
Is that the one where it just goes, The Rock says over and over again?
and then the helicopter, no, see, when the helicopter comes in at the start of it, it's like a spotlight.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
Hollywood. That
Yeah,
one.
I know which one you mean now.
So it's the guitar in that, but that's my favourite one. But my second favourite one's Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix, which is the NWO theme song.
Oh, yeah. Because back then, the WWF and WCW actually paid for songs.
That's right, aye. Now Vince McMahon doesn't want to do nothing. He'll buy songs and bin them.
It's almost like he buys them just so other people can't have them.
Well, there you go. I was on Twitter before we were having this discussion, and all I seen was people going mental because Bobby Roode's Glorious. What a theme song! That is fantastic.
Is it gone?
And he's no got it anymore. It was on NXT last night for approximately 60 seconds and then disappeared like that.
Ugh. Anyway, favorite tag team of all time?
I think New Age Outlaws. Don't even think about that.
Why?
Billy Gunn was the best pure athlete that I'd ever seen with my own two eyes. And the Road Dogg was the first person that I'd ever seen speak and rhyme, but also make it like joke. Do you know what I mean? And the way Road Dogg would be like the crazy legs and the shake, rattle and roll and the pump handle slat, just everything that still to this day, I'll put the New Age Outlaws of 98, 99 against any tag team on the planet, even the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
And badass Billy Gunn will outshine Matt and Nick Jackson on any day of the week, twice on Sunday.
What is your thoughts on Billy Gunn's sons in AEW? Do you think they have yes. Do you think they have I suppose the word would be the potential to be as great as the New Age Outlaws?
I've got the potential to be better.
Okay.
But it's no, is it Colton? It's not Colton. Aye, it is Colton.
Austin?
Austin's found his rhythm in the ring. So he can take after his dad at this point. Because he can already speak on the mic.
Yeah.
Colton needs to find his feet. If Colton can find his feet, there's no doubt in my mind that he'll be a better pure athlete than his dad.
Yeah. Favorite event you've been at live?
My favourite event I was at live was...
Wrestling-wise?
Man. ICW Fear and Loathing 2019. No, 16, sorry.
Is that the one with a certain story?
Can't mind.
The story you told me on Twitter with Jennifer Louise.
Oh, aye.
Is it that one?
Aye.
You don't have to tell the story if you don't want to.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. There was a few times I've been at ICW and, well, I've been drunk a few times.
Fair enough.
Well, let's be honest, it's Jennifer Louise. Do you know what I mean? She's ICW ring announcer. She's a pretty woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was single at this point. Now, my girlfriend's going, she'll kill me for saying this, but I thought, oh, I'm drunk. I'll go and shoot my shot, and made a fool of myself.
Oh no.
No, I
I
love
don't
Jen Louise. I love Jen Louise with all my heart. She's fantastic at what she does. Do you know what I mean? She's a great
yeah,
presenter and
definitely.
everything.
I don't know
But
if
she
you've checked
probably
I
she
don't know if
looked at
you've
me
checked
back
out my
then.
interview with her, but that was so fun.
I did. That was a great interview, by the way. That's what I mean. She's so candid about everything. She's
Yeah.
a lovely, lovely person. And there was the one time that I spoke to her sober and all, and it was a general hello, how you doing? But she couldn't have been any more lovely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I'll apologise on live, Jennifer Louise. I'm sorry if I'm making a fool of myself in 2016.
oh no. I'm sorry I made you tell that story now.
Don't worry about it, Tom. If we can't laugh at myself, who can we laugh at me?
I agree. So as we wrap this up, because we've covered everything that I really wanted to cover, where can the good people find you? Is there anything you want to plug?
You can find me on Twitter at Papa Mango, capital P, capital M. It's the only Twitter account that I use now. I probably won't post a lot of things. I'll retweet Twitter and stuff. And you can get me on Instagram at grant.crothers.420. And
So
you can generally find me about.
fair enough. So if you guys like this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Bye.
Peace.